The beef brisket flat can be a tough piece of meat to keep juicy, but I'm going to show you how we cooked 6 choice grade flats on 6 different offset smokers and had them all come out juicy and delicious. As a part of our best offset smoker head-to-head throwdown video, we tested brisket flats on all 6 cookers to see how they performed. Now, we called our local Kincaid's Meat Market here in Indianapolis, and they didn't have 6 full packer briskets in stock, but they did have more than enough choice grade brisket flats to get the job done. Now, my first few cooks with brisket flats when I first started smoking ended up dry, but they had really good flavor. Now, since there's so little intramuscular fat in the meat, with the point muscle cut off and the fat layer between them primarily missing, they're prone to dryness if even slightly overcooked. Now, this recipe is very straightforward, and it got us 6 juicy and drippy brisket flats in our recent test, so it's time to show you how we did it. Now, the process starts the night before the cook. I opened up the brisket flats and trimmed them up to get rid of any excess fat or weird looking meat from the butchering process. Now, there wasn't much trimming needed, and we only ended up with about 1 pound of trim per brisket, which is way less than I'd usually have with a full packer brisket. Now, my goal was to leave as much fat as possible on the fat cap, and anything between 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch is fine with me. Now, once the briskets were trimmed up, it was time to get them salted so they could sit overnight in dry brine. All I'm doing here is adding some coarse kosher salt to the sides, top, and bottom of each brisket flat. Now, I'm going for full coverage here without over salting the meat. Now, you can see here on the video how much we're leaving, but there's no exact amount here I can give you. It all depends on the size of the brisket. Now, we had some flats weighing in at 7 pounds and a few in the 11 to 12 pound range, so more salt was needed for the bigger briskets. Now, after each was salted, we wrapped them up in plastic cling wrap and let them sit in our outdoor kitchen fridge overnight. Now, as a side note, I love how this fridge door closes automatically whenever it's opened. It's one of my favorite features on this fridge from RCS, since we have guests in the lab and I don't have to worry about 6 briskets going bad because someone doesn't close the fridge door all the way when there's a group over. Now, the briskets sat in the fridge for about 6 to 8 hours overnight, and at 6 a.m. the next day, we started lighting up the fires. Now, I put a chimney full of charcoal briquettes in the firebox of each grill the night before, and that morning lit the charcoal with the grill gun. Now, Joel was helping me out today, and he grabbed the sous vide gun as well to light a few grills, and we had all 6 grills lit in under 10 minutes. Now, if you like lighting fires fast, there's a code in the description where you can save 10% on a grill gun or a sous vide gun. They're so easy, and they're an absolute ton of fun. Now, while the smokers were coming up to temperature, it was time to finish the seasoning on the briskets. Now, the salt crystals had melted into the meat overnight, so there wasn't salt visible on the outside of the meat, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. The dry brine worked, and now it's time to add some coarse black pepper all around the meat. Now, you don't have to use a binder for the pepper, but I personally like to use hot sauce as a binder on my briskets. Now, this is a hot sauce from our local Aldi supermarket, and I'm putting a layer all over the brisket to make sure our pepper is going to stick. Now, you can feel free to kick this recipe up with any spices that you want, but for today, we're focusing on just salt and pepper, the way you'd find brisket in the best barbecue joints in Texas. Now, I personally don't think you can overdo it with pepper on a brisket, but Melissa doesn't feel the same way. So I'm going with what I call a relatively heavy coat of black pepper, but not so much that Melissa would punch me in the arm for ruining her dinner. Now, once the pepper was applied, it's time to get these beauties on the smokers. Now, the age-old question comes into play here as we're putting briskets on the smoker of fat cap up or fat cap down. And no one seems to agree on the correct method. Now, Texas barbecue purists would say that the fat cap up is the only way to do it, which in their case is true because they're using large horizontal offset smokers most of the time. Now, the heat comes over the top in those smokers, and the fat cap on top of the meat protects the meat and renders fat that drips down the meat as it cooks. Now, of our 6 offsets that we're using today, 4 are traditional horizontal offsets, and 2 of them are vertical offsets, which means the heat is coming from the bottom of those briskets up the vertical cooking chamber. Now, I want to protect my brisket from the harsh heat, so on the 2 vertical smokers, it's fat cap down for me. Now, on the 4 traditional horizontal offsets, it's fat cap up. Now, I'm sure I'll hear from the barbecue purists on each side of the debate in the comments, but the only way I think you can get it wrong is not to cook brisket at all. Now, as long as you're cooking brisket, you do you, Pikachu. Now, the recipe now just needs to answer the time and temperature for the cook, and here's how we planned. Our goal was to run these briskets between 275 and 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 4 hours, opening the lid as little as possible during that time. I estimated that around the 4-hour mark, each brisket flat would enter the stall temperature around 160 to 170 degrees Fahrenheit, at which point we would wrap them in aluminum foil to push through this stall point in the cook. Now, for fuel, we started out each grill with a chimney of charcoal that we lit with the grill gun, but that's all the charcoal that we're using for this cook. As soon as the fire was lit, we started adding splits and chunks of cherry logs that we have here at the lab, and it's going to be a wood-fueled fire that gives us our smoked flavor. Now, in some cases, we had to cut our splits down so they would fit in the firebox, so it might look like we're using wood chunks to fuel the fire. Now, you could do that, but I find that the split of wood lasts longer when used as a whole piece, so larger pieces mean you won't have to add fuel as often. We're turning to our ThermoWorks Signals 4-channel thermometers today to monitor our temperatures, and we installed an air temp probe and a meat probe on each grill. Now, all 3 signals reported to my phone so we could monitor meat and fire temperatures over in the shade. We added splits of wood about every 25 to 30 minutes for this cook. Now, if you look on the smokers, you'll find that we used a water pan in every instance of this cook. On the vertical smokers, they come with a water pan in the bottom that we just filled with water to add some humidity to the environment. On the offsets, we went ahead and took aluminum pans and put them underneath the grate in the cooking chamber to add a little humidity as well. In any case where we didn't have enough room underneath the cooking grate to put the water pan, we went ahead and put it on the main grate between the firebox and the brisket, acting as a bit of a stop from the heat to be able to overcook or really blast that brisket hard. Now, you can do this with or without a water pan. It's completely up to you on how you want to do this cook. But I would consider you to try having some kind of humidity in your cooking chamber to help even out the temperature during this cook. Now, between the 3.5 and 4.5 hour mark, our briskets entered the stall point, or the point where the intermuscular fat starts to render and cool the brisket while it cooks. Now, for me, that's the 160 to 170 degree zone. Now, when we hit that range, we pulled the briskets off and wrapped them in aluminum foil. I make my own beef tallow from trimmings when I cook brisket, so I grabbed a jar and put a few scoops of tallow on top of each brisket as we pulled them off before we wrap them up. Now, I always double wrap brisket so I don't end up with a puncture where all the juice flows out during the resting period. Once wrapped, it's back on the smoker, still around 275 degrees for another couple of hours until we pull them off to rest. Now, I set an alarm on the ThermoWorks Signals for the 200 degree mark on the internal meat thermometer, and as soon as we heard the alert, I grabbed my thermopin to verify the internal temperature. Now, in every case, the Signals meat probe was right on, and the briskets were probing tender and juicy at 200 degrees. Now, this is where you'd want to put your wrapped brisket into a dry cooler with a few towels inside to take care of any leakage if it happens. In our case, we installed a warming drawer in the outdoor kitchen, and we set the drawer to 155 degrees and put the briskets inside for about a 3-hour rest. After 3 hours, we loaded the briskets into a Yeti cooler and took them to our team of taste testers to see which smoker cooked the best brisket. Now, if you want to see how those results turned out, hit the subscribe button on the channel since that video is coming up next. Now, I cut each brisket into slices against the grain of the meat, and they were just juicy and tender. Not bad at all for a choice grade brisket flat. Now we passed the bend test, where you can take a slice of brisket and let it bend across your fingers without having it break in two, as well as pass the pull test, where you can give it a slight tug and it pulls apart. For me, it's the perfect backyard choice grade smoked brisket flat, and our taste testers certainly agreed. If you're thinking about making this and you have a question, leave a comment here on the video and I'll do my best to get back here and answer them for you. Now, our mission here at the Barbecue Lab is to get you out in the backyard cooking for your friends and family. So go out and buy that brisket flat, fire up whatever smoker you have on hand, and let's get some people together around great food. Now, if there's anything I used in the video that you're looking for, I'm leaving links to all the products below in the video description, or you can also find my favorite outdoor cooking staples on the shop page on our website. Just go to thebarbecuelab.com/shop, and we have everything right there for you. Now, if you like this video, who else do you know that might like it? Give this video a share and see if your friends don't take up the challenge and invite you over for some smoked brisket. Now, hitting that like button and subscribing means the world to us as we keep making videos to help bring people together around great food. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and all of the socials, so check us out over there for behind the scenes content that you don't get here on YouTube. So thanks so much for watching, and I can't wait to hear in the comments when you make this one at home. I'm David from the Barbecue Lab, and I can't wait to see you next time.